Call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open Public Meetings Act statement.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers, posted on the bulletin board and township website. This meeting is being videotaped and will be on Channel 9.
Roll call.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mr. Fiorella?
Here.
Mr. Marsh?
Here.
Mayor Bruno?
Here. Can I get a motion for a public hearing on the following ordinance? Ordinance 0225, releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public in a portion of a paper street.
Motion 0225.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adopt ordinance 225?
Motion to adopt 0225.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 325, calendar year 2025 model ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank?
Motion 0325.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road, Melbourne. Good evening.
Good evening.
Just a couple things, and some of this may or not be related, but back on the January 23rd of 2024, when the salaries were being implemented at that point in time, Mr. Cooley made a comment that this year the salaries would be the bare minimum, because last year they'd already hit their maximum allowable amount. And I saw that this year, of course, we went over what the bare minimum would have been. I didn't know if there was a reason for that, or whether something changed over the year, because of course with this 3.5% in our budget coming up, I'm just trying to figure out where we're at.
This is just, this,
This is for the contractual, I believe, right? For the
no,
contractual
he's talking
increases.
about something else. I think what he was talking about, he could speak for himself, but I believe it was the ordinance, the salary ordinances. They've exceeded that number that was on there. So every year when you give raises, you have to raise the limit.
That's it. So what was done last year, even though it hit the maximum, this year wasn't supposed to, it still has to? Is that how?
Was it, you said January 23rd, 24th? So last year, yeah. So, some of them are probably in line, but I think we raised all of them. What?
It was $3,000 a piece and 3%, I think is what the state, for the average person. And then with the, I know we're doing the 3.5%, as in anticipating what may or may not be needed. I understand that is pre-budget. But of course, as you remember, Mr. Doyle, back on the March 11th meeting, you said our budget was now under control. So I wonder if it's under control and being managed properly, why do we have to even anticipate a 3.5% increase over, being somebody over the state limit?
I believe she does that every year.
Well, I know you can, but I'm just wondering.
But she just puts that out there. You could go over, you can go under it.
I don't, prices don't ever seem to go down, so.
No, that's usually where the unfortunate changes.
3%, if that's all things went up, I'd be real happy in life.
Out of the 24 districts in Washington County, we're ranked 9th in the highest taxes in Washington County. That was as of the end of 2024. Is there anything we can start doing maybe to, consider?
Is that municipal taxes, is that school, everything?
That's total tax.
We can only help 1/4 of
I
that,
understand that,
so.
but municipal tax, we're actually, for schools, I'm surprised, we're actually in the lower end of some of them. Which is where I always thought our taxes.
Don't tell the teachers that.
Well, I understand, but, most of it falls in other areas, and municipal being, unfortunately, a big chunk of that.
I mean, we have the same problems that they have, price of fuel, price of electric, price of everything, so.
Again, I've talked with Ben about being fiscally responsible. I hope tonight you think about that and vote no for this.
This is really not the budget. Comes Poindexter.
Good evening, gentlemen. Chris Sayers, 84 Malaga Lake
Good
Boulevard.
evening.
It's like Groundhog's Day again. Seating the cat.
That's funny.
Well, it's like every year. So, for the past year, I've become, I guess you'd say, friends with Deputy Mayor of another Gloucester County municipality. And, he's talked about stories about his town, and I've told him about the foibles that I've encountered in our town. and we share war stories. And, you know, and he told me, you know, it's not an easy position that you guys are in. And he said it's so hard to explain to residents why their taxes are high, or why certain services can't be extended, or certain services have to be canceled. You know, there's a lot of hard choices that you guys have to make up there, and that's what you're elected for. And so I've talked to him back and forth over the past year, and there are two things that he said that aren't hard. And he was a little surprised when I was talking about the stories about our township. Now, granted, I probably colored them with a little bias. I'm not going to deny that. You know, numbers don't lie. And he was astonished at how much money we pay our public officials, some public officials in this township. Now, I would be the last one to begrudge those people in those offices for making as much money as possible. I think I would try to make as much money as possible. I think anybody in this room would try to make as much money as possible. The problem doesn't lie with the officials, the problem lies with the people who make those salaries. And so when I told him that, he could not believe that some people in the township made what they reportedly made. So that was one thing that was not a hard decision.
Who's this person?
Who's
this person you're speaking about?
He told me these stories in confidence. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
He is on the November ballot, though. He's seeking higher office, so I'll give you that. And a Republican.
Not many.
Secondarily,
There's not many of them, so we'll figure it out by.
secondarily, he talked about how this year, you know, we can't raise taxes. We can't raise property taxes. Property taxes are too high. We absolutely cannot raise taxes. And then I told him, so my township, you know, Republican run, supposedly good financial stewards in charge of the finances. You know, but every year the budget caps.
Chris, who's overpaid? Are the police overpaid?
No, I'm not.
Of course
talking-
not.
I said certain
Trash guys?
I think you and I both know who we're talking about.
Well, just say it, you're giving a speech.
So-
Because when we do raises, we look at towns the same size, and we look at what they make, and we do a whole, we don't just, people don't just ask for money and get it. It's all based on other towns.
I'll just say that this public official is also a public employee, and his mouth dropped open when I told him some of the salaries that people in this township make. His opinion, granted,
I can assure you, we don't care about his opinion.
oh, okay.
I mean, the mystery man doesn't hold much weight here,
You'll
okay?
vote for him in November.
We don't know who it is.
Yeah.
And so secondarily, another hard decision, that's not a hard decision, is the fact to raise property taxes here. And, you know, some decisions are not easy, and I will give you that, you know, but this isn't a hard decision, so I would say don't raise the cap. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Can you comment on what officials are you talking about? You don't have to bring your friend into this. What officials do you think that we're paying too much money?
I don't want to throw, because then you
But
get-
you are, because
No, no, no. But then
you're
you
laying
get
out a
the character-
blanket statement.
You get the character assassination, and I'm not going, and look, it's
So
not
can
these public
I,
officials' fault.
this is, you made your point on the
Yeah,
cap and all. You can come back and have that debate
okay.
in the second public session,
I was just
probably.
responding to.
No, I understand, and I just, I don't think.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yep. Can I get a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adopt ordinance 325?
Motion to adopt 0325.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve correspondence and reports?
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 8th, 2025?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Can I get a motion to approve the bill list?
Motion to approve the bill list.
Second.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve raffles, St. Mary's School, PTA, VFW 2071?
Motion to approve the raffles.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve, looks like 2 farm stand permits. One's at 2219 Tuckahoe Road, one's at 1844 Dutch Mill Road. I know, I'm sorry, there's one at 2041 Williamstown Road. 3 total.
Motion to approve all three.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve food handling permit, Pegasus Restaurant, Mill Tavern, and Bon Vaccio?
Motion to approve the food handling permits.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to open the first public portion for resolutions below?
Motion to open the first public portion for resolutions.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.
I have a question on the, well, they have a public hearing on it, but it's 0725. Now, that's-
0725, okay.
You're introducing the three
The
ordinances.
mic is off, or at least it seems like.
Oh, can you hear? I'm gonna do that. Don't mess with the technology.
0725. I was down here.
Is it dead? It was on.
I know it is. I guess Chris broke.
Chris broke it. He said-
Just had too much.
Sorry, Cindy, didn't interrupt you.
No, that's
Just
fine.
couldn't hear anything you were saying.
I know, well, now, okay.
It's working.
Thank you. All right, can
You
you
hear
hear
it?
me now? Can you hear me now?
Barely. It's like she's not talking at all.
Ask my kids.
You hear this, right?
Yeah, yours are fine, can't you hear?
All right, well,
Put it up
hang
a
on,
little
I
Yeah,
was working
tilt it
fine
up.
with Chris. I don't know.
Tilt it
I
up
think you're
some.
fine, really, I just want, honestly. I
Dave, it
shut
might
off.
be the air
Use your mom
conditioner.
voice.
No, I don't think so. I mean, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you
Just
go.
have to bring it up.
Can you hear me
There
better
you go.
now?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, I pulled the mic up some. All right.
The
It
mic
was-
drop, not a mic pull up.
I'm sorry. 0725. You're amending the chapter regarding permitting rezoning of certain properties.
Correct.
All right. And of course, it's the residential RA, which most
But
of,
most of it on Route 40 is highway commercial. For some
Right.
reason, years ago, those properties were excluded.
and then highway commercial, and then interchange. So here's my question. Are we going to have the notice to the people who live in that specific area? So if, in other words, if you're one of the properties, are they going to know in order to be, like, in other words, something to really notify them? I know,
A couple of them came forward and actually
yeah, I know a couple of them
requested
did.
that. Yeah.
But you know what happens afterwards is that I didn't know, those kind of things are the question, because
Matt,
the highway
do we-
commercial comes in. Is there a way to notify the people
I don't
in
think
those
We're
we
areas?
required to notify them.
Not with a master plan.
Not with the master plan review. It's general notice in.
I know the general
all
notice in the
actions,
paper,
yeah.
but and I know, if you just put it on the computer or you put it in my paper, half of them don't, I mean, that's the truth. They missed it, they didn't see it. So my concern was, are those people who are in those zones, who are right, where the change is there any way that they could be notified in writing that we're having it?
I think
So
the
that
problem is, in this, there's just a few people, most of them requested it, but if, let's say you made one change to RA.
Right.
You'd have to notice.
No, I'm not just the
10,000
ones
people.
where, you know what I mean? I mean, I know you guys have looked over this, we went through all the meetings.
I think she's just talking about the lot and blocks that are.
Yes, right, Mark, just
Is that
the
in
ones that
the,
are just those
is that in the
individuals.
full
Yeah,
ordinance?
if you're asking, can we identify those, the answer is yes.
Or
Right.
Isn't that in there already?
Yeah,
I thought
but
it was
she's, I
already-
think her
asking if we
question
would
is,
send
can they get direct
Right, if
action?
I was in the highway commercial and all of a sudden I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying, interchange, and there's gonna be a hotel next to me, I'd wanna know that. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I just feel the only way to notify the public is to actually send them a letter. I mean, what is it, $1 stamp, but it's worth it in the way that they can't say they weren't notified. They may not open it up their mail too. But I think it's just a safety precaution as well as a courtesy to those people so they,
I
they
think when
have.
it's a smaller group, like I said, my problem is if you change 3 zones in the town, that would, not this, but if hypothetically, like say you changed the setback on a shed in RA, and said instead of 10
Which some of these
feet,
do,
5,
which some of these do.
Right, and I understand
but
that.
you'd have to notice 10,000 people.
She's
but-
limited, you're addressing just 7 now, in the ordinance 7.
Right, just ordinance 7. And it's really the interchange because of the idea of, that some of that area where I live is the RA. And we come right up to there. If you start putting in certain things. I'm gonna use Elk Township for an example. They're getting 2 hotels. Their firemen now have to go and know how to do elevators because they're that close to an interchange. If I lived there, I'd want to know that this now, you know what I'm saying, does that. And just to give them a heads up, I don't know, I don't think there's that many properties out there really. I mean, maybe $10, $20, and it'll certainly save, you know, in the long run, that at least they would have the courtesy to come out and say that, you know, they had something. That's just all I'm thinking of as the general public with it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We could just make a motion. Pull that and notify those people.
What's that?
We'll remove that and notify those people.
I can do it tomorrow and notify before the July meeting.
This is the first reading.
You're just introducing it, so we can.
Looks like there's 30.
Yeah.
We could
There's like 30, we can.
proceed
wanted
and
to
then
hire-
notice them tomorrow?
Not required to do it if you, there's, it
Are you
appears
setting
there's
a
30.
precedence, though, for
there's-
other
Well,
things?
there's, as you said, Mr. Doyle, this is, if it were every resident in town, it would be.
I think it's a good idea, I just don't want to get
There's
in
30,
legal
well,
trouble.
there's 30.
later,
So
that'd
that's,
be
this is,
nice.
you know, it's less than $100. I'm sure we give it out.
Oh,
No, it's stamps only 90 cents now, isn't it?
I don't do these.
Big Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. One, I wanted to thank you. I didn't get a chance to make it for the Malaga Park dedication. It looked amazing, and it does look amazing. I mean, that's a great addition to the town, getting that back in shape, especially in honor of Mr. Gonzalez. And the same renaming the road. You know, another honor to the family.
Not yet, we didn't get that.
No, I understand that, but it's coming. I do have a question in reference to the 2 grants, though, which I appreciate, as we've talked about, I brought up about cleaning up properties in this town many times. They are 7625 and 7725. One, the gas station down in Malaga near us, and the other one at Carmen Avenue. The grant money, I didn't realize it, and I don't remember seeing this in the past, at the bottom it states that we have to have a 3-year plan in place to redevelop that because of the grant, or we have to pay the grant money back, it looks like. Is that accurate?
Matt?
correct.
So is there any plans in place, you know, for this, once we get this grant money, I mean, something that's anticipated or something you're thinking about?
They actually sent that to us after the fact, so that's why they're back on again, because that came from the New Jersey EDA, that they needed that wording added to the resolutions we already approved.
Okay. Yeah, I said it looked new, so that's why I
Yeah.
was asking, so, but no plans, I mean, so who's gonna handle
Well,
that?
it-
Is that CMB gonna
and
handle that?
Well, and it's, the wording is actually weird because it's actually 3 years from the time we get the clean bill of health,
Oh, so it's not when the money's released, it's
Correct.
after that?
No, it's when
Right.
it's clean.
Right.
Then we have 3 years to do something with it, which they'll come into the township, so instead of having more properties, we would do something with it.
Oh, I hope so, I mean, that's the whole
Yeah.
purpose, cleaning it up,
Correct.
and I'm just curious if there's any plans, that's why I
No,
was asking.
no, there's nothing in place because we don't even have a timeline for when it will be cleaned or how much. Hopefully, the gas station won't be bad because it was already cleaned up once.
Yeah, you had mentioned that before. You know,
But Carmen Avenue could be a while.
Right,
so.
yeah, that's a lot worse.
Yep.
All right, and then, who's gonna handle that, the planning of that? Is that gonna be a CMA expense for the township, or is that gonna be somebody else? When it comes time to, you know, to figure out what you're gonna do with that.
That'll be up to the governing
cart
body.
before the
when
horse,
once it's clean.
3 years is a long way.
Keep it out of their hands, go over the cost a little bit. Thank you.
Oh, he was talking about CMA.
No, I know, but
Good evening.
You had to touch it, now it's gonna not work.
Yeah, no.
Get on your knees, there you go.
Jason Brandt, Rosemont Avenue, Newfield. I just wanted to come up real quick and discuss some of these ordinances you guys are introducing this evening. The first one is 0825, which is the stormwater ordinance. I know it's been on the agenda several times, and I've spoken about it several times, and it's been pulled. And I'd just like to thank the committee for a lot of the revisions that they've made to the ordinance. I think it's going to be a benefit to the township residents in its current form, not overly burdensome. So thank you to the committee for hearing those concerns. And then additionally, I'd like to thank you guys for introducing these other ordinances to start the process of implementing some of the changes that the Master Plan Committee had recommended. Specifically, I just want to comment on ordinance, sorry, I want to make sure I have the right one here, which is the ordinance regarding the accessory uses, which is 0525. When I moved to Franklin Township in 2009, I had the privilege of serving on the zoning board in the years following that. And that was an issue that's plagued the township for at least the last 15 years that I've been involved. So getting those revisions made to the accessory structure regulations is going to be a huge benefit to the residents of the township. So I want to thank you guys for that as well. And to the extent I heard another comment correctly that Franklin Township School District is one of the most fiscally responsible in the county, I'd like to take partial credit for that on the record.
He was talking about Delsea, I think.
Their budget's bigger than yours. He was talking about that.
I'm available for consultation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Jason. Can I get a motion to close the first public portion?
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion for Resolution 6925, authorizing the person-to-person transfer of plenary retail consumption license number 0805-33-003-007 from Doville LLC, TA Valari Sports Bar to the Mill Tavern LLC.
Motion 6925.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes, and I especially like to name the mill.
Mayor Bruno?
Right here?
Yes. Resolution 7025, approving a shared service agreement between the Township of Franklin and the County of Gloucester to provide family movie night entertainment.
Motion R7025.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7125, authorizing the refund to Sunny Mac LLC.
Motion R7125.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7225, approving mayor and clerk to sign a 3-month award extension for LA 2023 MA Williamstown Road.
Just finishing the project?
It's extending the project.
Motion R7225.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes, you know they're not doing all the roads, that's right. Whatever the money is. Resolution 7325, amending Resolution 7324, approval for purchase of a development easement on the farm property of Zachary N. Martorano and Kristen M. Martorano.
Motion R7325.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7425, authorizing the Township of Franklin to change the name of the street known as Malaga Lake Drive to Sergeant Gonzalez Park Drive.
Motion R7425.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7525, authorizing the administrator to accept the award for a local recreation improvement grant fiscal year 2025 from the New Jersey Division of Community Affairs in the amount of $91,000.
Motion R7525.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7625, acknowledging and amending Resolution 5525 for the NJEDA for the award of the HDSRF grants in the amount of $64,925 for Carmen Avenue area properties.
Motion R7625.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7725, acknowledging and amending Resolution 5425 for the NJEDA for the award of an HDSRF grant in the amount of $40,936 for 742 Delsea Drive.
724.
Dyslexic. Kill me over it.
Motion for R7725, 724, Delsea Drive.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7825, approving the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse fiscal year 2026.
Motion R7825.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 7925, authorizing tax collector to grant tax exemption for a totally disabled veteran.
Motion R7925.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Burton?
Yes. And Resolution 8025, authorizing tax collector and CFO to refund overpayment of taxes.
Motion R 8025.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Burton?
Yes. I want to introduce the following ordinances. The public hearing will be on June 11th, 2025. The ordinance 425 to amend Chapter 253-50A of the Code of the Township of Franklin to eliminate additional depth requirements for conforming lots consistent with the recommendations contained within the 2024 Master Plan Reexamination Report.
Motion O 425.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Again, that'll be on June 11th. The next one will be ordinance 525 to amend Chapter 253 of the Code of the Township of Franklin to revise standards for accessory structures consistent with the recommendations contained within the 2024 Master Plan Reexamination Report.
Motion O 525.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one's ordinance 625, amending Article 8 of the Code of the Township of Franklin, known as the Land Use Residential Agricultural District, Chapter 253 and Article 8, consistent with the recommendations contained within the 2024 Master Plan Reexamination Report.
Motion O 625.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one's 0725, ordinance to amend Chapter, what is that, Mark? 21? Of the Code of the Township of Franklin and permit rezoning certain properties from residential agricultural to highway commercial and interchange commercial designations consistent with the recommendations contained within the 2024 Master Plan Reexamination Report.
Motion O 725.
Second. And we're going to notify those people, Matt, correct?
It's up to us.
You guys tell us,
Yeah, well, that's what we want done.
so we have to get those
I agree.
addresses.
I'll take care of it.
Just let them know that the change, yeah, most of them requested it anyway.
I'll take care of it.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is ordinance 825 to repeal and replace Chapter 335 of the Code of the Township of Franklin entitled Stormwater Control to reflect amendments required by the NJDEP Stormwater Management Rules.
Motion O 825.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And again, the hearing will be on June 11, 2025.
Is that going to be a committee meeting? It's the day after? That's a Wednesday.
No, it's election day.
Election day is Tuesday. The next day is Wednesday. That's when the meeting is.
Election day's on the 10th.
I moved election day.
Primary's on the 10th.
It's on the 10th.
I was, you know what I was going to say? Really, Mark, you don't know what the meeting is?
No, it's
No, it is. Tuesday's the 10th. That's election day. So we'll move it to the next day, correct, Barb?
Yes.
I don't know if it is. I'm just lying. We've only 300 a bus. Okay, I get a motion to open the second public portion for comments.
Make a motion for second public portion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
He knows that's not true.
I didn't get a calendar. I want a refund on my taxes.
I'm approved.
Just wanted to say, I took my children to the playground in Mount Park. It looks beautiful together, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great money spent, isn't it?
Absolutely, thank you very much.
Teresa, 3 for 3 today.
You get 3 in one night.
Man.
Marshall 67 New Road, Pelican. The emails that come into the township for you, do they get screened before they go to you, or they go to you directly?
No, it usually goes direct.
I have issues with my email. Sometimes I get them, I have issues with my email. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't.
Went through a process first, or they went to you directly?
I think it goes to China, then it comes to me.
I notice more so than not, a lot of them go to junk
Spam,
mail or
yeah.
whatever. And I don't even say, like, I have to go in there and look through.
Well, you get a lot of junk mail.
Yeah.
Our emails are probably 99% sales, junk mail,
There's somebody got
programs.
programs.
Yeah,
They
it's,
pull it off the list.
mine was broke and I just got it fixed. Mark fixed it and it's just, you could spend hours dumping the junk mail.
Yeah, I kind of figured it. I'm just curious if they got screened or not. Mr. Kennedy had brought up the last meeting, some concerns about some comp time. Has that been looked into at all?
I believe John sat down with
Yes, sir.
Robin,
Yes, sir.
so I'll let John comment on what he discovered or whatever when he's here.
Next meeting. or-
Yeah, I apologize that he's not here, but.
I heard Mr. Kennedy approved comp time when he was administrator.
That may very well be. Just
Yeah.
to see what's happening right now with our tax money, so I'm just curious
Yeah.
if that was the case or not.
Actually, it's not. There's no comp time in the township.
Okay.
Nobody-
So,
nobody-
beyond
nope.
salaries, you consider comp time?
Nobody
There's no
get-
comp time in the township.
Nobody
Comp time
gets-
through DCA when I came here in 22 into 23. All contracts, there is no comp time.
There's no one in town that gets comp time for
Okay, so
any
whatever the
hours.
salary is what the salary is, nobody's getting paid above that, is what you're saying.
What the salaries you say, I don't know what he had or what he
I don't know, that's
professed to
the way
have.
it sounded, so that's all.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I mean, DPW earns overtime as per
But they,
the contract,
they
so
used to be able to
but
take it
nobody
as
gets
comp time.
yes.
We stopped that.
Okay.
The police don't, there's some people that have comp time still,
Right.
but that was from
That was
when
frozen
they
where it
were
was at.
in the academy, and they've kept it ever since.
Okay.
It's better than a 401K.
Yeah, no, just,
It is.
just curious. We talked about the property behind the Malley Diamond the last time.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I was walking away, there was a conversation that continued, that you were mentioning, Mr. Finley, to the committee, that, you know, it's harder to do something with him because he's an individual. Well, it's the property is owned by a business.
Correct. He switched it over to a business, and he's been scheduled for trial and extension as a business.
Okay, do you need his other 3 aliases or the 4 other businesses he has? Because that's not his real name, but I'm just wondering. Oh, it's amazing what you can find out about this individual. He's going to cause his council a lot of problems.
One goes away, another one
Well,
comes.
that's,
It's
I'm just
amazing.
saying,
One
it's,
day
you
he'll-
can crack down on it fast. before you know it.
I'd really just like to know how other towns do it.
I don't know, I know, the only one I know of, because I have friends there in Elmer, and they find them repeatedly, pull them into the meetings, embarrass them in front of people. I mean, and then they get results.
We can't
We
require
can't
people
get
to
the
come
guy
to
to
meetings.
go in front of a judge. You think we're gonna have any luck getting him to come in front of
In
us?
front of the judges and in the public eye, though.
It could be.
It could be, but it's a little different. I only know that they do that, and it works for them.
But
I'm not saying it
we
works.
can't require someone to come to one of these meetings.
No, I know you can't. I understand, there's a lot of things you can't do, but the fine part, you can hit repeatedly, then you
And
eventually.
And
They've
it's being
been getting
done.
continual
Okay.
fines.
It's just
The
not
problem is,
one
once it-
time.
Once
It's,
it gets to court, what you fine them and what they pay.
Yeah, well, the actual result
Miles
on the side, but
apart.
eventually you can actually get to the point of owning the property, correct?
Yeah,
All right. And then you
Theoretically.
separate with the victim and go from there.
yeah, yeah.
Judge has to agree on that. though.
Yeah, but by that
He's gotta
time,
go through the legal channel.
by that time, he'll slop up the property and we'll
Well,
have an
and that's-
environmental nightmare. and We'll have to pay.
Well, that's what you have going on now, so that's why I said I'm trying to help alleviate that a little bit. And like I said, the weekend is when he's there, consistent.
That's what
You know,
I
and most
told him
nights, but
that.
not always, but all weeks, Saturday, and Sunday. In fact, now he's selling chickens and eggs, I think. So he's always staying set up. I mean, it's like a slap in the face of the township. It's like, I don't care what they say, I'll just do what I want.
Selling
Do what you
chickens.
can do. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. You tell me you stop checking.
You can't make
Can I get a motion to close the second public portion?
Motion to close.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Committee reports. Mr. Marsh.
This past week, May 6th, was the day Sergeant Gonzalez was shot 100 feet from our entrance to the police department. I know where I was that day. I'm sure everyone in the audience knows where they were at that time. Ended up dying on May 7th. We had our candlelight vigil. Whole police department was there. Police department did an amazing job cleaning up the memorial in honor of Sergeant Gonzalez, which it's amazing. It's been 30 years since he lost his life to a scumbag. They shot and killed him, and Chief did an amazing job. Thank you for doing that.
Mark?
I don't have any committee reports. I would just like to say, we put a lot of time into salaries. We put a lot of time into the services that we offer to the public. I'm really getting tired of people coming up and claiming we should be cutting things without giving us what it is we should be cutting. So, or identifying who's making too much money or anything else. I can't speak for everyone else, but I don't get a paper put in front of me at the beginning of a meeting and just vote on things. I put a lot of time in investigating, and as we all did, as Tim said, what local officials make in other towns, the populations of other towns, comparing apples to apples. And again, if you want good services, you have to pay people. The prices of everything are going up. So I can't speak for other towns, I can just speak for us.
Thanks, Mark. Mr. Doyle?
I wanted to thank the police. I know they did the Gonzalez dedication park, but they also broke their own record for the most
We don't wanna
tickets
advertise.
violations for the month of April. So the fact that these guys just keep improving is pretty amazing. Also, the public works guys, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we were paying outside services to like spray weeds. It wasn't done great. Our guys took it over. It's done way better. So the public works guys went from outsourcing work to doing it themselves and doing a better job. They're doing a better job with the potholes. So when you drive around town, notice the little things, because that's what makes the difference.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. I'd like to have a list here. I'm going to start out with Chief Cesare. There was a couple events. They cleaned up out here. They remulched the beds. It was, I guess, every cop, even the guys that were on the street that day, were in there working, pushing a wheelbarrow, putting pavers down, mulching, rocks, everything. And then he had, a couple of nights later, like Mr. Marsh said, he had candlelight vigil. Again, this is 30 years. A lot of times when something goes 30 years, there's just not a lot of people that continue to be around for 30 years. But the parking lot was full of people that day, and I believe that's a tribute to this guy and the guys that came before him. You know, they formed a brotherhood here, and it has everlasting effect. I want to thank Administrator Finley. I don't know if you notice, but we get quite a few grants, something we haven't had in the past. So I forget what the first one was, $70,000 or $80,000. We put some money into it. We built a thing. We got another $91,000. Probably going to go to a park in town for some kind of improvements there. These environmental grants to clean up these properties, we never got them if it wasn't for this
Not to
man.
interrupt you, Jake, but we used to pay a grant writer, and I would say we got a lot more grants now without it, with Mr. Finley and the girls in the office and Barb working on it. So there's a big savings in salary.
And Tim touched on it, but Public Works, you know, we started doing stuff in-house that we could. We got a little training for Jared, and so now we're allowed to go out and spray. And we're going to expand that with other chemicals we could spray on the fields. We still use someone for fertilizing, but right now we're going to, you know, we'll eventually get to the point where we're doing all that too, if it's cost effective. And the job they did at Malaga Park, all that fence was done in-house. They repaired the parking lot, they painted the flagpoles, re-gravelled the road, everything. It looks good. All the mulch, all the stuff, the playground mulch, all the border. Regrading, and we're not done. Like, there's some water sitting there, and you know, they got a plan to get that water to the drain. Unfortunately, I've heard some people complain that, you know, there's no, what is it?
Sunshade sales.
Sunshade sales. Yeah.
We're gonna
I
plant
don't
some
remember
trees.
a sunshade
plant
sale
some trees.
there, but, you know, like Mr. Doyle said, we're gonna plant some trees that hopefully grow up and create a lot of shade. Also, I want to thank Deanna from Public Works, Jared, Brian. There was another shredding event this week. I don't know what the tonnage was, but there was quite a few people that came out. You know, we had a couple guys from Public Works there. Mark was there, I was there. You know, again with Deanna, Brian, and Jared. So, and Jared's daughter actually helped out from the ROTC at Delsea, and it was really nice. But I want to personally thank those guys for the work they did. All the guys at DPW for the work they did at that park. It really, you know, not because we did anything or, you know, it was a group effort, but they did the work. So thank you. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming out. Even you, Renee. Even you, Renee.
Nice looking tan. Look at that. Did you get to the tan?
Good, all right. Sun.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah.
I'll never tell him it's right.